Mady and the Cupid Killer by Farida Aziz. Part 5. Callahan approached him.
It's nobody's fault, Mady. Come on, let's go. We have to sort this out before the press gets wind of it. Of course it's my fault. I thought I almost had him. I used her. True. And sometimes shit hits the fan. We can't blame ourselves. We'd go nuts. We're up against a sick son of a bitch. Come on, man. I'm sweating like a hooker in church here.
Mady finally stood up, and both walked towards their car. Another family was destroyed, this time because of his doing. As they were driving in silence, both tormented with guilt, Callahan said that he will be the one calling the husband. He knew that Mady would break down and say it was his fault. Something he knew well would have repercussions. It was a devastating thing to deliver the news to a loved one, and he knew Mady was not in his right mind to handle it carefully. Before he could gather the words he could possibly say to Mr. Strand, their radio broke the silence.
Possible attack on 23rd and 5th. Female is being chased by a male. She called in and said he's chasing her with scissors.
They exchanged a puzzled look. Did Cupid break his pattern? Or was it a copycat? Callahan took such a steep turn. Mady wondered if the car was going to flip. But he did not care. He knew it wasn't a copycat. Cupid was about to give his finale. His masterpiece that would end the spree. He broke his pattern because it was the end. Mady jumped on his radio to call for backup on their way to the location. They were so close, and she was still alive. They could hear other sirens from other police cars following them from each direction. You won't get away this time, Mady thought to himself. As Callahan was driving at full speed, Mady kept eyeing the streets like a hawk. He finally said,
Follow the lampposts. She'll follow the light.
Then he heard it, running along the lampposts as he predicted. She too was a clever one. Before Callahan came to a full stop, Mady had already opened the door and jumped on the road, prepared to run at full speed after the woman and the Cupid killer. From what Mady could see, he was a tall man with hair slicked back with brilliantine, scissors in his left hand, ready to strike. Mady was a fast runner. He managed to catch up to them and yelled for the woman to change course and turn to her left. Mady figured that if the man was left-handed, it would take him a moment longer to change course and aim if she were to follow his directions. She finally ran towards Mady, and he had no choice but to push her to the ground in case the man had a gun. As Mary fell to the ground, Mady took out his gun, aimed and fired. In a second which felt like an eternity, he watched the man fall in slow motion. Mady could only hear his steady breaths and the blood pumping in his temples. It was all over. To his surprise this time, he felt like he had finally found the man who killed his father. All those years chasing a faceless figure, all those years of pain and torture, it was all over. He saved the woman's life. He had saved many a life before, but this one felt different. It felt like he saved his father's life. He couldn't explain it, but this is what he felt in every bone of his body, like a sigh of relief.